Welcome, everybody, to STG Golf Club Tour Talk.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Another episode, another big weekend in golf. Tons of stuff was happening out there.
Yeah, we, not gonna lie, didn't watch much of the beginning of it, but got in there for the last round. But you tell me how your weekend went watching.
It was, typical lounge up on the couch for some Sunday golf, have a nap.
Nice.
And come back for the last 5 or 6 holes, which is pretty normal.
The PGA Tour has been putting you to sleep lately, eh?
We need a little bit more excitement out there.
Yeah, is that an old age thing or just...
Yeah, you get older, you lay down on the couch, and you fall asleep no matter what, especially me.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's dive right into it. Everyone's favorite cross-handed chipper got it done,
He tried to hand it back to Scottie, but in the playoff, hit an absolute stunning 4-iron to 13 feet.
Yeah. I want to talk about how he led by 3 or 4 shots all day until the last 4 holes. And then, Scottie doing Scottie things. Somehow Scottie has been making me want to cheer for him in the last couple of weeks just because the people above him are the ones I want to see him take down,
Well, what I've seen that's quite interesting the last 3 or 4 weeks on the PGA Tour is the leader doesn't step up to the plate, doesn't play an amazing round on Sunday, and either ends up in a playoff because he let the field get to him or wins by 1 stroke like Rory did at the Masters.
Yeah, that's fair. But Scottie's been doing a good job of finishing out his rounds. He just isn't having the dominating days on the first 2 like he's known for. But yeah.
Well, I think Scottie's missing something right now, and if he finds it, these guys are all in big trouble.
Yeah, I think Scottie just needs to get a chip on his shoulder and realize that he's world number 1 for a reason, and that he needs to start dominating and acting like it because I don't know, he just comes into the tournament just like every other Joe Schmo. I want him, walking in an outrageously sick outfit because he makes so much money, and just he doesn't have the aura, as the kids would say, that he needs. I think that's why it takes him a while to get into it.
Well, he definitely, compared to Tiger Woods, has 0 aura.
Yeah, that's fair. He's just the Joe Schmo, boring old Scottie. But hey, I've been cheering for him just to take down and chase the leaders and make it interesting, to be honest, because Fitzpatrick's been playing really well, and watching him lead by 4 strokes isn't really entertaining to me. But hey, he made it entertaining. He got it done at his favorite tournament, including the majors somehow. Did you see that clip of him talking about how this is the tournament that he's always wanted to win in front of the majors?
Well, his family used to holiday there.
Oh, is that what it is?
So he has some special, nostalgia there, and now he's won it twice. So
yeah, he's getting it done. I don't know how you could call this tournament more exciting than the majors, but hey, that's Fitzpatrick's unique guy. Let's put it that way.
Well, it's definitely a tournament that people want to win. But let's talk about leading up. So 18 Fitzpatrick bogeys.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to a playoff.
Yeah.
They both hit it in the fairway. Fitzpatrick's hitting 4-iron. Goes pin hunting. Hits it to 13 feet.
Yeah, he hit it. It was lucky, though. Not going to lie. He one-handed finish on his strike, and he, pulled that ball, I think he said, 10 yards. He wasn't playing it out there, but hey, that's the way she goes. That's why you pick your targets the way you do.
He should have held the finish, and no one would have known that he did that.
Yeah, true. That's fair. But he didn't, and he looked like it was going in the water when he first hit it. So.
And then let's go to Scottie in the playoff. a full 2 clubs shorter, 6-iron.
Yeah, he was 30 yards ahead of Fitzy there. So I don't like he had the right club, I guess. I don't know if he just like toe balled it and hit a big, slice. I don't know what happened, but
I think he wiped at it. He was trying to hit a tight draw. He put it up in the air. It looked like quite breezy out there, and ended up a good 30 yards short.
Yeah, quite breezy is an understatement, but yeah, 30 yards short is unacceptable, especially for the world number one. But one thing that people are talking about, which I need to get your opinion on, is this week Scottie is officially halfway to Tiger's record of being consecutive weeks number one at I think he said 148, and Tiger's double that. So everyone is now back to the comparison of him versus Tiger, which is still ridiculous in my eyes. But do you see Scottie continuing his dominance for double the time that he has? Or do you see is anyone catching your eye to catch him eventually or soon?
Right now, I don't know who's going to catch him, but I find it very hard to believe that he will even sniff Tiger's world number one record.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because the pro players are all split right now. Well, some of them are split with LIV and whatever. So even on the tear that Jon Rahm and Bryson have been having on LIV Tour, yeah, who's to say that they wouldn't be able to reach world number one? I don't know. I just don't know if it's an accurate comparison, especially right now. He's only halfway there, so people need to tone it down a notch, I think.
I can tell you the most annoying thing when you're watching golf, PGA Tour golf, is how many times Jim Nantz refers to him as world number one during the course of one round.
Yeah, Nantz loves the guy.
Like, world number one, Scottie Scheffler. Yeah, okay, Nantz. We know. We know that he's world number one. We know that you absolutely love him, but you don't have to say it every single time.
Yeah, who would you say is like the poster boy of the PGA? Would you say it's him or McIlroy?
Ooh, I would say that's almost a tie. Nantz, I think, absolutely just is infatuated with Scheffler.
Yeah, but I mean, McIlroy has been there freaking like leading. Well, I don't know. He's always the one speaking up, talking about the PGA Tour and hating on LIV and hating on anyone that's not the PGA Tour. And he's always the one telling all the LIV guys to grow up. He's the spokesperson, it feels like, from the players. But, Scottie being world number one and being the epitome of the PGA, boring and dominant, he should be the figurehead, no?
Well, I would say in Nance's eyes, he is definitely the poster boy.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. Nance loves the guy, but I think both of them are rather boring, but that's just my opinion.
The other thing is that he's always around the lead, even if he has a bad first couple of rounds. Lately, he's been able to pull it back and make it interesting on Sunday, or at least be around the lead. So, he's always there. He has a chance to win almost every tournament. So, I would go with Scheffler as being the poster boy.
Okay, good. I like that. Speaking of poster boys, the LIV Tour had two of their main guys have very opposite weeks this week. Jon Rahm went on an absolute tear, and Bryson DeChambeau called it quits early and just couldn't manage his temper.
Well, Bryson comes out, says he had some discomfort in his wrist. Whether I believe it or not, I think he might have been not liking the course conditions.
Yeah, I like last year he had the same issue where he just doesn't know how to hit a bunker shot. I don't know what's going on with that, but he hates the sand there. He hates the fact that there's dirt. There's not perfect grass everywhere. I guess coming from Augusta, it's probably pretty jarring to play on a course like that, but it didn't seem to bother Rom. So I think DeChambeau's just having a little DeChambeau moment there.
Well, he missed the cut at Augusta and then came here and withdrew. So we'll see how the rest of his season goes.
Yeah. I don't know. He might be joining the Your Golf Tour soon.
Oh, a little getting in the YouTube golf tour. Eh?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to poke that bear, but he might be. You never know.
Well, it's crazy that Rom could go from having a really tough week at Augusta, come out at LIV, finds his form again, and runs a train on all the other players.
Yeah, he ended up winning by 6 shots. He was 7 under on the final day. He looked like a scoring robot out there, but I don't know how you go from, missing or not missing the cut, but almost missing the cut at the Masters, playing debatably terribly for who he is, and then come back and fire 22 under or whatever it was for the 4 days and just go back to being on a tear. Maybe, just maybe, people are right that the LIV golf courses are just playing easier and it's making them all look better than they are.
I would say that almost, but I mean, he is a former champ at the Masters, so everybody has an off week, and that course can really expose any chinks in the armor, as they say, of your game.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like Augusta gets in your head a lot. Seems like it gets in people's heads a lot. So I understand that to a certain extent, but I'm surprised at how fast he bounced back because he looked robotic. He looked perfect out there.
One thing I want to talk about, and I find it a bit crazy, is LIV is finally starting to have some media attention. Guys are playing good. Anthony Kim wins. Bryson's winning. Rom's winning. It seems like the tour is starting to get some momentum. And then they come out and say, we're not the Saudi PIF program. We might not finance you guys next year.
Well, I wonder, is the war causing some issues? Because I did see that, they had mentioned, the governor had mentioned that the war would add some pressure to reposition some priorities. So I wonder if that has a lot to do with their funding being dropped. But it is sad to see because I think that the thing is I was starting to fall in love with the LIV Tour. I think it was more entertaining. It was actually gaining some steam, and they just took the wind right out of the sails.
That's what's crazy. They were just starting to get some momentum, and then this. It just and puts a totally different spin even on this Mexico City tournament where you're like, oh, shit, I don't know if this is going to if this tour is even going to be around in a couple years.
Yeah, it felt very dead. Like the energy was very low comparatively to the other last 2 events. And yeah, it seemed like, I don't know, no one had any energy left. They sucked the life out of that tournament, at least. I'm hoping that they can get some energy back and have a couple of great tournaments in a row and then hopefully somehow get them back on board. I guess it's not technically confirmed yet, but no one has denied that after 2026 that they are going to get funding. So I would really be scared that if the purses go down to $100,000, then it's dead. It's gone.
They won't even be able to get the Your Golf guys to come play for that.
Well, they might.
I'll tell you what, though. You got the Saudis, if they thought that they were going to come out and in 3 or 4 years take out the PGA Tour, then they have small brains.
Yeah, they needed to be in it for the long haul because golf is, a slow-moving sport, and they were doing a good job, I think, but for them to put, $5.5 billion into this and then to just call it quits, there's got to be something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. But yeah, it's ridiculous. $5.3 billion in, and you just kind of call it. It was very jarring to me when I heard that news.
Well, maybe it's not where they think it should be. Then they've put all this money in, and now the war with Iran is happening, and maybe they're looking, when stuff like this is happening, you start to think, hey, is this my out? Is this where I can pull the plug on this thing and blame the war?
Yeah, that's fair. But I also think that it might just be the funding is coming from people that aren't necessarily golfers, but they understand the business of how well the PGA Tour does money-wise and how they're pumping more and more money into that. And the golf industry in general is gaining has gained a lot of traction since COVID. And I think they were just trying to take advantage. And now that they've kind of had a slower start, they might just be on to bigger and better things.
Only time will tell. So they better get some major action happening here with their next tournaments. And otherwise, you could see this thing going the wayside of the dodo bird.
Yeah, I hope not, but it might end up happening. My question is, do you think this affects the LIV guys in terms of the major season coming up? And does it kind of, ruin their, I guess, mindset going into those tournaments? Are they going to have any kind of drive left knowing that that's happening, or what do you think?
Well, one thing that I've been wondering, like the big dogs, like the top guys that got paid 50, 100, 150, 300 million dollars, they're going to be just fine. A lot of them are major champions, though. If they want to play and they want to continue, they'll play their way back onto the PGA Tour. What about some of these young guys? What I want to know is, I hope that they got upfront money.
I hope so, yeah.
If they got, say, like a $1 million signing bonus or something, like, not that it's a small amount of money, but if it was, say, a $10 million deal over 3 or 5 years or something along those lines, and then those guys are out.
Yeah.
And they only get paid, say, the 1 or 2 million initial money, then that was a big mistake going there.
Yeah. The big name that comes to my mind is Michael Lasasso, the kid out of college that won the NCAA individual. He was supposed to play at the Masters, supposed to make his debut on tour, and then he signed with LIV. So now I'm a little concerned about his career and what that's going to do to him, because he's a fun young talent to watch. He's got a crazy looking swing, and he's a baller, and he plays really well. He's young. I think he's only now 20 or 21.
Well,
but
hopefully
he forfeited his chance to play in the Masters to join this league, and then now they're just cutting funding right on top of him within 3 months. So that made me a little sad thinking about that.
Well, hopefully he got like $5 million to sign there, or else I hope he wouldn't go for anything less.
Yeah, that's true. And $5 million, that'll at least get him through until he gets back on the tour and is playing. If, like, let's say LIV just calls it quits at the end of this year, and then all of a sudden the PGA Tour, being the PGA Tour, is like, oh, you got to pay $3 million and you got to requalify and blah, 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 then that could ruin this kid's career if he isn't careful,
Well, he'd just go play somewhere else. They're not going to make, the big guys like Koepka. Yeah, they made him pay a bunch of money, but he had a ton of money. Some of this other young talent, I think the tour might shift. If the top players, they should let them come back. Let's get the tour unified, and let's get some excitement back out there.
Do you think that comes in a partnership deal with LIV, and like they kind of merge like they were going to before or whatever? Or do you think they just let LIV die until those players all need somewhere to play?
I think this is like, there will be no partnership deal. They are probably just loving this right now. The PGA Tour is thinking, okay, we got them. They bluffed. They couldn't spend enough money to make this thing happen.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that would make the PGA Tour right all along, which is, not my favorite thing to admit. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that we get to see Lasasso play a lot more. So Okay. Let's move on. We're going to go to the senior tour. I know it's your favorite. All your friends are playing on there. How's that this weekend?
Senior PGA Championship.
Yeah.
It was quite a tournament.
What's it?
Stewart Cink, 6-shot victory. 63 on Sunday.
The hat tan line must have been working well.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. I think it gives him power.
Probably.
Just having that amount of tan line.
Yeah. Yeah, his brain doesn't get damaged.
He is still ripping the ball like 300 plus.
Is he? I haven't seen much.
He is a huge guy, though.
Oh, that would make sense.
Big guy. So 300. And then we had old bucket hat Ben Crane in second place.
Good old Ben Crane.
Yeah, slow play bucket hat Ben Crane out there. So, I'm not a huge fan of Stewart Cink, but I like him better than bucket hat.
Fair. I heard that Fat Perez was out there too.
It's Pat Perez.
Oh. Who's that?
Fat Perez. The only reason his name is Fat Perez is because he looks like Pat Perez.
Oh.
Did you even know that?
I don't even know who Pat Perez is.
Well, Pat Perez, journeyman out on the PGA Tour, went to LIV. Reportedly got $20 million, which was almost the same amount as his career earnings on the PGA Tour.
Good for him.
Was relegated from LIV. Now, in his first event out on the Champions, which was not the Champions, it's the PGA Championship, is why he was allowed to play, because he still has a ban from PGA Tour and Champions Tour. 5th place finish.
Wow. How old is this guy?
50.
Oh, right on the number.
Just turned 50.
Nice. That's awesome.
So it'll be interesting to see if Pat Perez tries to get back on the PGA Tour or goes out and tries to dominate on the Champions.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, hey, if he's a baller, he's a baller. Speaking of old guys, I heard that Tiger Woods remains away from golf. However, he is grinding every day to make a comeback. He's in Switzerland or something in a rehabilitation program, and he is the rumor on the street is that he's pushing to be back.
Well, I hope he comes back, because the tour needs him if he can play.
Yeah, but okay, here's my thing. Do you not think that it's like maybe we're done?
Go to the Champions Tour.
Yeah, but I think you're the only person who watches that.
You can take a cart.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, yeah, whatever. I mean, if he wants to come back and play Champions Tour, cool, but I just don't know if like I think he wants to be on the PGA Tour still. And I think that he's like playing or was playing in TGL stuff to try and get back into the swing of things to get back on the PGA Tour. But he has the greatest comeback story in golf, and I think that it might have been just time to call it after that. Like, that was your big climax, and that's just, I think, where it needed to end, because after that, it's been sad stories all from Tiger.
Well, the most unfortunate thing that happened was the first car rollover.
Of course.
Where he almost loses his leg, because prior to that, he was still playing amazing, coming off the Masters victory, wins the Zozo, wins the Tour Championship, and then mangles his leg, and I think that could be it for being able to walk 72 holes and win a golf tournament.
Of course, yeah. And obviously everyone wants to live in a world where Tiger Woods is fighting with Scottie Scheffler over winning tournaments, but that's just not reality, I don't think.
I don't think it is either, but if he could make the Champions Tour absolutely pop.
Yeah, that's fair. But
they would have the biggest crowds they've ever seen at a Champions Tour event if Tiger Woods tees it up.
Yes, I agree. But at the same time, I think he would dominate on the senior tour because he's Tiger, but what happened? Like, my fear is that he comes back ready to roll again, plays on the senior tour, and just never wins.
Impossible.
What if it does?
Give him a cart and he wins.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
The cart levels the playing field with the leg injury. It's not the ball striking, it's the walking.
Of course, I know that the ball striking is was still there. I don't know where it is right now, but I just think it's time for him to focus on Charlie and making Charlie become a psychopath like he was.
We'll see. I think we need him out on the Champions Tour. Golf needs Tiger. The people want to see it. Give the people what they want.
But golf has Tiger. It has the story of Tiger. It doesn't need more Tiger.
Golf needs more Tiger.
Okay, anyways. Yeah, Charlie Woods, I think, is the new wave because he's got a beautiful swing. He's a good player. He needs his dad to reel him back in to become a psycho like he was.
Now I'm going to tell you a little something, okay?
Okay.
When your dad is an unbelievable player in any sport, hockey, Gordie Howe's son, couldn't live up to the hype.
Okay.
Jack Nicklaus, all his kids couldn't make it. They could never be Jack Nicklaus. They could never even win on tour. Okay? Brett Hall arguably surpassed his dad in hockey.
Okay.
But when your dad is Tiger Woods, the amount of pressure will be 100 times greater than if you're just another guy on tour coming up.
Okay, that's fair. But I don't need another Tiger, really. I just want to see him compete and play well. And I think that Tiger, if he were to focus on working with Charlie to get his mindset in the right place, to get, his swing is already pretty good and it looks a lot like Tiger's, but to get everything dialed in, all the fine tuning, all of that stuff, if Tiger can help Charlie do that, I just don't see him doing badly on tour. He doesn't need to be he doesn't need to live up to the same result as Tiger. I just want to see him. I want to see him win a couple tournaments.
That'd be amazing. We'll see how it goes in university. And if he can, that is the training ground to play on any tour because you get the experience of playing 3-day events, 4-day events where you're out there grinding, playing real tournaments. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely true. What are some things that you think take you from being, a +2 that's just entering college? Like, I believe, I actually think that Charlie is probably like a +5, but either way, entering college, what do you think are the biggest things that he needs to learn to make that jump?
Well, he needs to learn how to play and produce under pressure.
Right.
Which in some of the tournaments he's played has not happened. He has been playing with some of these top amateurs in all of North America or the world, and he has not even been in the top 10 or 20. He's been close to the bottom of the field, which is tough.
Yeah. So, okay, let's say not even Charlie. Let's say a random kid is playing college golf, and he, because I think that as a player, you from +5 to +7, let's say, there isn't exactly many big physical changes that happen. It's mostly all mental and tournament prep and learning how to play under pressure and all that stuff. Do you think that Tiger's mindset of going into tournaments knowing he's going to win and essentially the cockiness of Tiger is why he was so dominant? Or do you think that it's just like the pressure doesn't really get to him?
To be one of the best players in the world, you have to be one of the best putters in the world. Okay? There is thousands of people that can hit the ball like you would not believe. But if you cannot putt, you will not make it on tour.
Yeah, that's fair. I I mean, I don't know though. There's a lot of guys that putt really well too that don't make it.
Have you ever heard the old adage?
No, which one?
There's a couple things that don't last.
Yeah.
Dogs chasing cars and pros putting for pars.
Ah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Is that from like 1965? Or?
I believe that's Lee Trevino.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but hey, if you want to be one of the best players in the world, you need mindset. You got to be able to hit the ball, and you got to be one hell of a putter and chipper.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that, mental game is where it's at when it comes to that level. But either way, I think that's it. That's all we got for today. Anything else you want to add?
I think that's it, brother.
All right, perfect. Well, we'll see you guys next week on the next episode of Tour Talk, where we break down all your favorite tours and discuss all the important and funny and cool news from the week. So we'll see you guys next Monday or Tuesday. And, take care.
See you next week.